Good morning, everyone. Hope you're all well. At the moment, I've got just back in the chat. Hi, Claude. Let's have a look at this a minute. Nice to see you this morning. Hope you have an amazing day. Right, no, thank you. Good morning. I've got a special guest in with me this morning. It's the blind Gooner himself. Daniel, how are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, Claude. I'm good, mate. I'm just having a wonderful Tuesday morning at the moment. I'm really good, mate. Thanks for having me on.
And how's the channel going? Going well?
Yeah, the channel's going great, Claude. I've just smacked. I'm almost at 1,130 subs now. So yeah, growing quite fast.
Yeah, that's great.
So yeah, the channel's going good. My ultimate target is to hit 5K, so I'm well on the way to doing that. So yeah, listen, it's going great, mate. And that deadline day stream kicked things off again. So
let me tell you, anyone in the chat, Daniel, you started at 9 o'clock in the morning, right through to about 11, right through to the end, didn't you, Daniel? Just a couple of little breaks, but you went right through the whole day. That's amazing, mate. Well done for that.
So I started at 9:30 in the morning, and I think I wrapped up around about 11:45 in the end, and it was a good show. It was really good. Bit tiring towards the end. I could feel it a bit towards the end, but when sort of like the guests dried up a little bit, and I was coming towards, when we were hitting that deadline. But it was a really good show. Had great guests on. I had yourself on, Claude. I had Dan Potts, Kevin Campbell, Lee Judges, and then a few of the other regulars, Nitish, Sam Greenwood, Ryan. So yeah, it was a really really good show. Really good show.
Great. Listen, let's get into the morning stuff. Let's have a look at it. And hold on a minute. Hold on. Where are we going here? Let's have a look. The screen. Hold on. Right. I'm going to touch on this, Daniel, this morning. I don't know if everyone else can see that in the chat. And it's Arsene Wenger's claim, Daniel, is that Mesut Ozil has been wasted at Arsenal and urges his former club to get him involved again. Now, Arsene Wenger's coming into this debate. I'm quite surprised. He says, my best years have been wasted at Arsenal, and he's urged Mr. Arteta to get him involved again, which is very unlikely. But he brought him in, of course, to Arsenal in 2013. Unfortunately, he's fallen. For me, I think Mesut Ozil has fallen out of love with football really since the 2018 World Cup. What's your take on this? Are you surprised at that? Mr. Wenger is making this claim, Daniel?
I'm not surprised that Wenger's making the claim because, listen, Ozil was one of Wenger's favourites. We know that when Mesut Ozil signed for the club, it was, Arsene Wenger wanted him and brought him in from Real Madrid. I'm not surprised to see this. Ozil, the topic of Ozil divides the fan base, and it's almost it almost divides fan base as much as the Wenger saga did. But I just feel, Claude, we just need to move on from Ozil. I think it's clear to see that he's not interested in anything to do with football. If that was the case, he would be up in arms about being left out of the team. We know that he's turned down big money moves to go to Saudi Arabia and play over there. He obviously wants to hold Arsenal to account about the fact that they've left him out of the team, that they're essentially freezing him out. Any other self-respecting professional footballer would not be happy with that and go, hang on a second, I want to play football. You have to remember, that footballers have a short career. You know, their careers is not a long career, and Ozil is just wasting his own career. Listen, if you don't fit into a manager's plans, if you don't fit into a certain system that the manager wants to play, that can't be helped. Listen, players come and go. Players fall short of managers' expectations, and any other professional footballer will go and find, their careers elsewhere. But Ozil is just quite happy sitting, taking his money, rather than looking to finish off his career, maybe where he started. But it's not a nice situation, and it's just a shame that we've got another 10 months of this situation before he eventually, inevitably, will go on a free. And I think it's just a battle of wills, a battle of mind games, and I think that's going to be the continuing theme throughout the season. And I see a lot of people defending Ozil, saying that we need to remember that he's won us the FA Cup in 2013, 2014. Listen, it wasn't just him. It wasn't just him winning us the FA Cup. It was a whole team collective. I don't think you can single out one player for crediting those victories. But yeah, I just feel we need to move on from Mesut Ozil. I think his time's done at the club. We're moved on. He's not fitting into that system. And he just needs to. We just need to part companies with him, because it's not ending well.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. It is. I think it's a shame. As I said, I've been going on about this. I think just try and pay the guy off, and let him just relax at home until he finds somewhere else to go. But I've got a feeling that this will be solved in the next few weeks. I really do, and one way or the other. But then one put an £8 million bonus thing in there. So I don't know where the £8 million bonus when he's not even playing. That's a mystery. Anyway, let's move on from Mesut, because I think we've done him a bit too much, a bit late in the last. And it's this, and it's this story. 1 minute, I'll just get it up on the thing for everyone on here. 1 minute, and it's this one. And I don't know what your opinion on this. 1 minute, I'll just get it up. And it's. We could have got Hossim Aouar in the deadline, but apparently Edu had jet lag, so could not complete the deal. I don't know where this story is coming.
Who's printing that? Because if it's the Sun, I would just take it with a pinch of salt and not believe anything that rag prints.
It's Joe and Co. I don't know, Joe. This is a site from Joe. Apparently that he had jet lag and couldn't make the flight because he'd been actually running around a lot on other deals and trying to get other deals sorted out. Well, of course, the Thomas Partey one, of course, went really right till the end, didn't it? So, but they're now saying that he had jet lag. So, that's why he never went to bring Hossim Aouar in. But apparently, I'm hearing from another source that his preferred destination was Juventus anyway. So, but of course, I don't think they could come up with the money either. There's a lot of clubs that haven't got this sort of money to pay. He was rated at £60 million. So it would have been a very hard deal to pull off. But anyway, it wasn't the Sun, but it's an interesting story. I hope that it's not true, because mate, you're being paid to get these deals over the line, not being giving us excuses about jet lag.
I don't think it's true. I think the likelihood is, when they realised they couldn't reach an agreement with Lyon for Aouar, I think they pulled out the deal and went back to getting Thomas Partey, because Partey was essentially the easiest deal to do. Because all you had to do was pay the release clause, and the rest was history. I've seen a couple of reports today as well, and the Football Terrorist done a stream on it that Partey apparently was waiting for Chelsea.
I'm going to have a look at that later, but I think I think Terry's stirring it a bit now.
That's what I thought. I saw that.
It's a bit naughty now. And he's getting a bit silly now. He's stirring trouble between Chelsea and Arsenal and all this fans, and I think that's a bit naughty, really. I don't know what's happened there. They've taken a quote from his dad, I think, and they're trying to make what do you make of it? Do you think he means that, or do you think he means something else?
Do you know what I think?
I got the start of it. Sorry, go on, Daniel.
Do you know what I think it is, Claude? I think it is because we got our top targets, and only one of our top targets. You know, you have to remember that United got absolutely nothing. So I think it's just United fans stirring it just to try and make some sensationalize the story. Because when you actually look at the quotes that his dad said, it doesn't seem. He never mentions Chelsea. He never mentions. He just said he was waiting for a bigger club to come in. Now that doesn't necessarily mean that he was not always going to join Arsenal. Listen, we know from day one that Partey wasn't going to force a move to Arsenal. He was waiting to see what happens. As soon as Arsenal met the release clause, that's when he would go. And that's exactly how it happened. As soon as we paid his release clause, he just packed off and joined us. So it's, I'd take that with a pinch of salt, to be honest. I think it's, if Chelsea really wanted him, they would have had him. Let's be honest. Do you know what I mean? They would have gone and paid the money, and they would have had him. But even Chelsea fans are saying that it's that they were never in for him. So it's just looking a bit silly, to be honest.
Yeah, I think Terry's just, as I say, I think just Terry's stirring the pot a bit. He's stirring the pot.
Yeah, I agree.
It's one of them things, just stirring the pot, and I don't believe. I will have a proper look at it later on. Hold on, I think there's a super chat coming here somewhere. 1 minute, let me get it. There it is, and it's from Paul Bridle. It says, "Nice to see you and Daniel on today." Thank you. Yeah. It's a long time since I've had Daniel on, actually, so it's nice to see him back on again. And apparently, this is another thing I want to go on to. Let's have a look at our boys on international duty. 1 minute. Let's have a look a minute. Where is it? Let's get it up, because I want to bear with me, Daniel, a minute.
No worries, mate. No worries at all.
There we go. And it's the I don't know, you're not in the chat can see. It's our what's happening. The players that have gone on international duty and where they are at the moment. And Thomas Partey was in action last night, apparently, playing for Ghana in a 5-1 victory, and played 90 minutes and provided 2 assists. That's good, isn't it?
Wow.
So nice and fresh for. So it'd be nice and fresh for Saturday. I hope he does play him on Saturday. By the way, there's people saying he might not play him because of all the.
I've seen that. A lot of people are suggesting that he's not going to play on Saturday because he hasn't had time to train with the team and stuff. Listen, I think if you brought him in, and you brought him in to solidify that midfield and to add steel to the defence and to protect the defence, why would you leave him out against a team like Man City when you know that our defence is going to need all the protection and all the help it can get? It just doesn't make sense. I don't think, we have to remember that Thomas Partey is not a rookie. He's an experienced player. He is essentially the finished article. So we don't need to treat him with kid gloves. He can just come in and do a job. Yes, he might not have trained with the team, but listen, you don't need to have trained with the team to know what your job is as a defensive midfielder / box to box midfielder. I think he'll be in there. I think he will. I can't see him being left out. It just makes no sense.
Exactly. Let's have a look at how the other players have all gone. Bakary Sanya played in the England game. He played 70s against Wales, 76 minutes. So I thought he had an impressive game for England, considering it's his first ever game. It took time a little time to settle in, but he played all right. Pepe played 90 minutes for the Ivory Coast against Belgium, come through unscathed. Xhaka played 90 minutes against Spain. Ceballos didn't feature. So, yeah, no injuries to report. That's good news. The only thing I want to touch on, Daniel, is the Kieran Tierney situation. I mean, I don't know if you heard this, but he's saying he's negative. He didn't get in any contact with the player. Now they sent him back. Arsenal are not very happy with the Scottish FA because they're saying he's negative, because he could possibly miss. I think he will miss if the FA, if there's a ruling in place, he's going to miss Man City. I don't know what you feel about this, but surely if he's negative, this
is a problem for me, and not just because I hate international football, but this is why international football in mid-season, especially at this time, should be scrapped, because it has no importance at the moment. You know, the Euros is pretty much all done and dusted in terms of we know who's in the Euros, so I don't see short of getting game time together as a squad, I don't see what the importance of international breaks are. If you're going to do it in a play, especially with this, with this COVID-19 situation. I don't see the point in sending players here, there, and everywhere just to link up with their countries and risk their club. Risk what's happening with their club. And Kieran Tierney, right? He's had 3 negative tests since he come into contact. Now that was over a week. I think it was a week ago or a week and a half ago. Now, when you believe all these scientists and all that, they say that if you're going to get the virus, if you're going to come down with it, you're likely to get it within the first 2 or 3 days. It's not going to be like if you haven't had it over between 7 and 10 days, you're less likely to get it. And from what I can understand, it's almost been like a week and a half now that they've linked up, and he's had 3 negative tests, 1 by Arsenal, 2 by Scotland. So if he's having 3 negative tests, the likelihood is now he's not going to pick it up, and I don't see why he shouldn't play on Saturday. Listen, he isn't going to play. I completely get that. They're gonna follow the guidance, but it's just utter madness. And the other thing is, what was he doing in a hotel room with a Scottish player that had tested positive for coronavirus? Whose idea was it to?
Well, I don't know why they're not having all separate rooms if it's such a big thing about it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? That makes sense. But hopefully that they can sort that out and he can play. If not, I think Saka will. By the way, I mean, did I actually say Sanya? I'm sorry if I said Sanya. I meant Sanya.
Yeah, you said Bakary Sanya. You said Bakary Sanya. I was sat there listening to you. I was like, I think you meant Saka.
Sorry. This is what I mean. I'm cracking up, mate. I'm absolutely cracking up. Jesus Christ! Did I really say that? God, dear, oh dear. Oh dear, sorry, I do apologise, man. Dear, I take a long time to wake up in the mornings, even though it's nearly midday. I do apologise for that. Right, let's have a look at anything else up. Standing. What's going on? So,
be interesting to see how many people read Wenger's new book as well, isn't it? It's gonna be interesting.
Oh yeah, the book is out today, isn't it, Daniel?
It's out today. It's out today. And the audio book version is really good because he actually reads it himself. So So I went and got the audiobook version, and yeah, I'm gonna have a listen to that later. It's gonna be.
You got it. Have you already got? Have you already got it? Yeah.
Yeah. I downloaded it this morning. So it
Oh,
come out this morning. I downloaded it this morning, and
you've not had a little.
ready.
You have not had a little peep yet, or a little listen to it
No,
yet.
I listened to about a little clip of it because they said that he was narrating it himself. So I was like, I wanted to see if that was true. It is. He's reading it himself, and then yeah, I've not had a browse of it yet, but yeah, that's going to be the next book on my list to read.
I'd be interested. Maybe you should bring a few of them snippets out on when you do your show. That'd be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I would do, mate. I'll read some quotes from his book or something.
Yeah, because it'd be good. I think that'd be interesting. I'm really interested to see what he has to say. I wonder if he's got a section on Deadwood and in his book as well.
Yeah. Well, he done last night. He done a show at the London Palladium, didn't he? Talking about.
Oh yeah, because I actually saw someone posted that on Twitter. Yeah. There was Palladium. He done a show, did he? All right.
Yeah,
right,
he done a show called An Evening with Arsene Wenger at the London Palladium. I was gonna try and get tickets to it, but with all these restrictions and with London being a ticking time bomb at the moment, I was like, I'm not going to risk it. Do you know what I mean?
It must have been a restricted audience because
yes, yeah. Everybody had, everyone was social distance and that, but. Yeah, I would.
I don't know what your thoughts are. We seem to be the only country that are not letting spectators. I looked all around the international scene, and there's crowds in there, but not big crowds, but at least they're allowing people in. I think this is the only country at the moment that's not having anyone in at all. But I've noticed. I was watching a game in the Ukraine. I think it was it also Swiss? One of them. And they were having crowds in. What's your thoughts on that, Daniel?
Claude, I think it's utter madness that they're not letting crowds in here, because you have to look at it, right? That you can go to concerts, you can have socially distanced indoor concerts, you can go there, and you can go to a show, and you all have to wear masks and all that, granted. But you can't go to an outside football stadium. It's utter madness. It is total madness. The government persisting with these lockdowns and all that, it's bollocks, Claude. It really is, because the lockdowns do not work. For anybody that's an advocate of lockdowns, I'd love you to come and tell me why you think they work, because they don't. Because what happens is that you're going to lock down a country, and in the short term, you're going to bring down the cases. Absolutely. It's going to have a short-term effect. But then what's going to happen is you're going to unlock the country. People are going to go mad because they've been restricted. And then the cases are going to go up. And then you're going to have to lock down again. I seen something today that the World Health Organization have come out and said that they don't advocate lockdowns. They said that they're not recommending anybody to use lockdowns now because they're ineffective. Unless it's a really, really bad situation like Liverpool. Liverpool, I think, are the highest city in Europe at the moment now to have bad cases. Unless it's in a situation like that, lockdowns are ineffective because you're damaging the economy, you're damaging mental health, you're damaging all this. They're suggesting that the best thing you do is learn to live with the virus. You take Sweden, right? Yeah. They've only had 5,000 deaths, and they've not had one single lockdown or had one single restriction because they've learned to live with the virus. Now, I know a lot of people are going to come out and say, oh, but Sweden, it's a bigger country with a smaller population. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The principles, the fundamental principles are the same. They've learned to live with this virus. And the sooner we get to grips with that, this government, right, are still under the illusion that this virus, if we keep locking down, that this virus is going to disappear. It's never going to disappear. We need to come to terms with that fact sooner rather than later, because it's never going to disappear. There's always going to be people that die from it. Sadly, that's a fact of life and a fact of reality. Now, I'm not dumbing down anybody who's died from it or anybody who's going through it. Listen, it's a tragedy, but there comes a point where you have to get to a point where you realize that locking down, going in and out of lockdowns, is just gonna eventually is gonna piss people off. And I've said this for time, and I stand by what I say. We carry on the way we are, we're going to end up in a national. We're going to have national riots, and it's going to be a civil war, and we're going to end up fighting against each other, and it isn't going to be pretty. And we are heading into that situation. We're going to have national riots. We're going to have army on the streets trying to control it all. That's the way we're heading. And if they don't do something soon, we are going to end up in that national state of emergency for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, good point. Very good point. And unfortunately, this government are just making their own rules as they go along. I think it's
Claude. It says something, right? Yeah. When the government set out these rules yesterday, and I don't know whether you saw it, and this is the biggest statement that the government have ever made. So they come out and set out their 3-tiered system yesterday, and then you've got Chris Whitty coming out in the same press conference saying, "Oh well, this tier 3 is not going to work anyway. So this alone is not going to work." Now that says to me that the government have essentially fucked off the scientists' advice and just making their own decisions, and the scientists are wanting something completely different. When you've got your own chief medical officer riding roughshod over your political decisions, to me that's a massive, great big problem. If anybody hasn't seen it, or anybody if you get bored, and go and watch that clip, because it says all you need to know about the divisions between the scientists and the government. And it is mad. It is totally mad. And we're not coming together. We're getting more divided. And it says something when your chief medical officer is riding roughshod over your own political decisions as prime minister. That says everything you need to know.
Yeah, I don't want to crumble. I don't want to get into political things about China and on this show, but so I won't answer the question on the corona thing. I won't answer that. I don't want to get into a political debate over it, but yeah, I do get your point, Daniel. I do get your point. I don't know. Sooner we get back to the crowds again, the better, I think. I haven't asked you about this, Daniel. I mean, this is the biggest topic of the week. Is the $14.99? You might as well say £15 a throw for the Premier League. What's your thoughts on that, Daniel?
I get why they've done it. I get that they need to bring money in, but why so high? Why the price so high? So when they did this a few years back, I think it was back in 2004, 2005, they had a channel on Sky Sports called Premier League Plus, and they were charging $9.99 for the games, and that massively failed because everybody went to illegal streams. Now, if you're going to do so, I get that they need to make money, but just do like a $9.99, because you have to remember as well that we're already paying a monthly subscription for Sky Sports and BT Sports, so we're already paying, I think it's like 40 quid a month. Well, I know certainly that's what I'm paying anyway, 40 quid a month for the combined package of BT and Sky Sports. So you're going to tell me on top of that, if there's an Arsenal game on this Premier League thing, I've got to pay an extra $14.95 or 15 quid, which takes you up to what, 55 quid? That's ridiculous. I get that they're trying to make money, and listen, they do need to find some way of getting money in. But what this is going to do is it's going to push people to illegal streams. People are going to lose interest. And let me tell you something now. The big clubs will be okay. The likes of Arsenal, Man United, Liverpool, Chelsea, Tottenham, Man City, they'll all be okay. because most of our games will be on the regular Sky and BT fixture. The teams that's going to lose out are your likes of Crystal Palaces, West Broms, Everton's, Wolves. They're going to lose out because they're going to be the teams that's going to be shown on this Premier League, the pay-per-view channel. And those are the teams that's going to lose out. The big teams will be okay because we'll be on their normal schedule. There'll probably be only a few games that will be on this Premier League channel. I know certainly Arsenal will be okay because we're in the Europa League, so we're going to be on a Sunday, and most of the Sunday kickoffs will be on regular Sky TV or BT TV anyway. We're not going to be on the Premier League channel, but the other clubs are going to lose out. I think it's better just to try and get a small section of fans back in the stadium, be more beneficial. And I know a lot of people will say that the price of this ticket is cheaper than a match ticket. I grant you that it probably is, but at the end of the day, listen, most people are not going to be prepared to play 15 quid, maybe a tenner, like £9.99 or something like that. But 15 quid, you can't justify that. You can't. That's for every single. That's for any individual, each individual game. So I don't know. I get why they're doing it, because they need to make money. But why so steep? Why the price is so steep? Now, a lot of more people would go for it, Claude. This $14.95. More people would go for it if they had assurances that money was going to go to help keep, like lower league clubs in business. So, like, the money we're spending to watch these Premier League games goes to the clubs that are really struggling to stay afloat with this pandemic. Like the smaller clubs. More people will probably go for it then, because they'd know that their money is keeping local clubs afloat, and that's probably the only way that they could probably get a lot of success out of it if they said, listen, all right, we're charging £15, but this money is going to the support of keeping local clubs at a lower league, at a lower level afloat, and that would be beneficial to all parties, because I think a lot of people would go for that.
Yeah. Daniel, another thing that's come up, because I haven't spoken to you about it, so but it's come up. We was featuring it last night in our show. Is the 8 or 9 clubs that want to take over the running of the Premier League? Well, I don't think it's a good thing. I don't think we should have a cartel like that in any. I think it would do a lot of damage. But what they want to do is they'll scrap. One of their plans is to scrap the Carabao Cup and the Community Shield, and also the Premier League, cut the Premier League down to 18 clubs. What's your real thoughts on that, Daniel?
I think it'd be great for lower league clubs, because I've seen it that a lot of the money is going to go to lower league clubs. I don't like the fact that all these top clubs should have the deciding factor what goes on in the Premier League. So, what it's going to do is it's going to cause more divide between the lower clubs and the top clubs. I don't think it's personally. I don't think it's a good idea. I think we should stick with the current system. There's nothing wrong with the current system. With what we're doing, there's nothing wrong with it. If anything, it's more open. And you're seeing now that teams are more, you've got teams like Everton, Wolves, even you could probably throw Spurs into that mix. You've got other teams, the Premier League is more open than it's ever been. So to radically change it just to suit the top clubs, it's going to massively piss everybody off. I don't think we should be doing that. I think we should be embracing the fact that the league is more open. We should be embracing that it's healthy competition. I don't see why we should have this 9 clubs decide everything. I don't get it. I don't see the benefits from that. It's just going to cause more divisions between the footballing world.
Well, what they're saying is the clubs are saying, these top clubs are saying that it will create money also to help the lower league clubs, because there's a lot of lower league clubs that could go out of business. So that's where they're coming. That's their angle, where they're coming from. Yeah. So I'm agreeing with you. I don't think we should have these 8 clubs, because before you know it, that those 8 clubs will pull away into a European Super League or something like that, and then that will completely destroy the game completely. I agree with you, Daniel, on that. I think we leave it as it is.
Yeah.
Let's have a look if there's anything else we can touch on. 1 minute, I'm just gonna see what. I don't think. Oh, by the way, someone was asking me in the chat, what's the title of Wenger's book? The title of it.
So it's called My Life in Red and White.
Right, My Life in Red and White. Right.
Yeah, My Life in Red and White, because he had red and white at Monaco as well, and then obviously Arsenal. So yeah, and then his Japan teams was in red and white as well. So yeah, it's called My Life in Red and White.
Oh, appropriate. That's I never thought of it like that. They had that much of a connection with the actual shirts, but that's interesting.
Yeah. All his clubs that were in red and white. So that's why he's called it My Life in Red and White. But yeah, it's weird. I never knew that until I read the description of his book, and I looked it up. I actually googled it, and yeah, all his clubs were in red and white. Amazing it's amazing what you can do when you're bored in lockdown. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I wonder if there's a section. I wonder if there's a section in the book saying "My Battle with AFTV."
Well, They apparently talks about all the unrest towards the end of his Arsenal career, and he talks about that. It's going to be interesting to see, though, whether he, it's going to answer a lot of questions. Hopefully. But yeah, I'm looking forward to reading it. It's going to be a very, very interesting read.
All right. Let's see if there's any. I think we've anyone in the chat is. Hello, Alex. Alex Wilden. It's a good morning to you, Daniel. Alex Wilden. It's a good morning to you. You know Alex Wilden, don't you, Daniel?
Yeah. Good morning, Alex. Hope you're well.
And hope the missus is well, because his wife, his partner's not been very well, so hope she's getting on the mend. So let's have a look. Is there anything else here to look at? Anyone got anything else to add in the chat that they want to ask Daniel in the chat while he's here? Got another 5-10 minutes to go. So if you want anything you want to ask Daniel,
fire
Daniel,
away.
Of course, his new channel, The Blind Gooner, Daniel, which is how long have you been? How long has your channel been up, Daniel? How long has it been up now? It's about. So
I started it the end of last January, so it's not even been up a year yet. So yeah, it's fairly new, and it's like I say, I've hit 1,130 subscribers. So you guys do go and check it out. I'd really appreciate it. Any kind of support and any love you can show that channel, would really appreciate it, because it is new and it's hard when because I'm starting from scratch as well. So it's any of you guys go over there and show it some support, would really appreciate it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Paul Bryle says this COVID-19 is really bad for people with depression and anxiety. My partner will not go out at the moment. It's very hard to see that. Yeah, I do sympathise with that, Paul. Listen, I know we all, there are a few of us in that same boat. So I know it's not nice at the moment. But the good thing is not as bad as it was in the first couple of months. when you couldn't even go out. Never mind. But at least we can go out a little bit, so that's not too bad on that front. We got Mr. Arsenal podcast, Ryan in the
Ryan in the chat.
Also, this Kirk. Yeah, so no contest after Gunnersaurus thing that gets. Oh, yeah, I want to touch on that. What's your little bit of topic to go off the pitch? Gunnersaurus. What's your thoughts on Gunnersaurus? Do you think I don't believe I actually believe he'll come back because he'll come back once this football's back. But I think it's because of there's no football, and of course you can't do any parties anymore because he used to do outside parties as well for kids.
Yeah, I think he's. I think he's coming back, but I think it's a different guy who's coming back.
No, you can't make someone redundant and put someone else in that job.
I don't know.
Listen, legally you can't do that. I don't think if you're made redundant.
Claude, they should have kept him on. Right now, I get why they've done it because there's nobody in the stadium, so there's no need for him. But they could have found a need for him. You know, come on, there's junior gunners right there out there, you know, online. He could have done like some online videos for him or something. Do you know what I mean? Like there's things they could have done to keep the spirits of young kids up who can't go to a football match or can't go to to do anything. They could have kept him on and they could have found stuff for him to do. You know, I'm a believer, you know, they could have kept him on. I really do think so. You know, I know obviously Ozil's offered to pay his wages, which to make of that what you will. You know, I said this on my channel as well. I said that it's a nice gesture, but there's just a little hint of a PR stunt behind that. And it's a lot of people are divided on that topic as well. But, you know, they should have kept him on. I think they could have kept him on. I don't see why they've done it. And you look at it, Claude, as well, right? They saying that it was part of that 55 redundancies. But did you see they dropped the story on deadline day? They dropped it on deadline day when, remember at the time, and you called it spot on because you come onto my channel and said, don't get too disheartened, we might sign a player. But do you remember at the time when they dropped that story, everybody was like, oh, we're not doing anything on the day. You know, even I said it myself. I said, oh, it's going to be one of them windows where we're not going to do anything. So they conveniently dropped that story just to anger Arsenal fans even more.
Funny enough, funny if you should say that, Daniel. But apparently, he was one of the 55. Made redundant a few months back. So why drop that on at the deadline day? Yeah, a bit naughty, I think.
Yeah, because they know, Claude. They know that in dropping that on deadline day, right when Arsenal fans were pissed off about the lack of signings, they knew that would have maximum impact and maximum effect on Arsenal fans trying to get on Arsenal's back. They knew what they were doing when they dropped that story. That was a bit, you know, I agree with you, a bit naughty that they done that. It was a bit of a sneaky move by the papers that dropped that. They should never have dropped it then.
Yeah, I think it was a bit naughty. Okay, I think I've covered everything. I think you know what.
Hello.
I was taken off air there for a minute. Sorry about that, everyone. That happened to me a couple of times on the other day. I was just trying to sort.
Yeah, I was wondering what happened there. I thought my battery had died on my computer.
No, don't worry, Dan. Don't worry. You're all right. You're okay, mate. You're okay. It's my end that went wrong. Yeah. What was I saying now? I even forgot what I was saying there because I was just taking off the air. No, if there's anyone else got anything else to put in before we go. Yeah, someone's put on this comment, where's Claude gone? Oh, dear. Yeah, I think everyone is. Steve has said, can't wait for the live along on Saturday. Should be good. Yeah, look, I don't know about Daniel. I'm sitting here. For the first time in quite a while, as an Arsenal fan, I'm looking forward to the game. I can't wait to see Thomas Partey. It's like, how can I say? It's like I'm like a little kid on Christmas Day waiting for my presents. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just that's how I feel about Thomas Partey on Saturday afternoon. I'm looking forward to this game. I'm really looking forward to it because just to see what he can. And that's early, but this signs of what he can bring to our team. So I don't know about Daniel.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the game. I'm actually confident because Man City are all over the place at the moment. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to seeing Thomas Partey. Hopefully, he does start. Like I said earlier, I don't see why they would leave him out in a game such as this. October is a busy month for us. It's a busy month. It's an important month. If we can get through this with a good number of points on the board, do you remember? We've got 3 wins out of 4, which is not a bad record, not a bad start to the season whatsoever, in my opinion. Listen, I know we had that little bit of a howler against Liverpool in the league. Certain decisions that were made in the team and certain things that happened. But you know what? We always knew there'd be bumps along the way. We knew that it's not going to be plain sailing. So to get 3 wins out of 4, and let's be honest about it, let's be real about this as well, that in those 3 games that we've won, we've not exactly been performing great, have we? We've not exactly been, we've not been, those games have not been, we've looked on them and gone, wow, we really fully deserve to win all 3 of those games. Let's be honest, we rode our luck at times. And in past seasons, we would have drew those games. We would have absolutely foiled it and we would have drawn those games. But to come out of this season with 3 wins out of 4, October is a busy month. We've got Man City, Leicester and United. Now, United, I think we could easily get a result against this. And they're absolutely awful at the moment. Leicester, it's a tricky team. We've got to watch out for them. And City, we know that City, on any given day, they can turn it on against the best. So it's going to be an interesting game. I'm looking forward to it. I really do think if we can pull off a victory up at the Etihad against Man City, it will make a statement. It will send out a statement to the rest of the teams that we're not messing around this season. We are in it and we're fighting. Don't get me wrong, we're not going to win the league or anything like that. Let's have that right. But we're making a fist of it for that top 4, and I think we could do it. We've got this month. Not to mention we've got the start of the Europa League as well. So the games are coming thick and fast.
6 weeks running. 6 weeks running, Daniel. 6 weeks running. Jonathan's asking me how we'd line up on Saturday. To be honest with you, Jonathan, I've got. It's very hard to say because I don't know whether Kieran Tierney will be playing. If Tierney plays, actually, I think he might go back and He might go back to the 4-2-3-1. But the only thing I've got worried about that on Saturday is playing David Luiz in the back 4. That's the only worry I've got.
I think he'll go 4-3-3.
Yeah, you might. Could do.
I think he'll go. Bellerin, Luiz, Gabriel, and Kolasinac. Because obviously, because Tierney's out, Claude. I don't see who else you can.
What about Saka there, left back?
He could do that. He
Yeah.
could do that. I just can't see it. I think Saka's going to be used further forward, and then the middle three. I think he's going to go Partey, Xhaka, and Ceballos, and then the front three is going to be Willian, Lacazette, and Willian, Lacazette, and Aubameyang. He might take out Xhaka and maybe go with Partey, Ceballos, and maybe put Willian in that further forward in the front three, in the midfield three. To have Partey. He could even have Partey, Ceballos, and Willian, and then have Pepe, Lacazette, and Aubameyang, which gets them both in the team. He could do that. And then Saka will come off the bench.
I don't think he thinks Pepe's in the right form yet to play him 90 minutes. I don't know. He's been playing him a lot coming off the bench, hasn't he? It would be interesting to see if he does that. But well, Daniel, I think we've done our thing today. Thank you very much. Tell everyone where they can find you on different platforms and where they can find you, mate.
Yeah, so thanks for having me on, Claude. It's been great as always coming on. Really love coming on your show, and that is fantastic. You guys can find me at the Blind Gooner, which is Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Like I say, my YouTube channel is really growing great guns now. So anybody, if you could go over there and give it some support, would really, really appreciate it. It's certainly hard doing it from scratch. Getting the word out there and getting it to a point where it can just naturally grow on its own. So yeah, any of you guys in the chat, please do go and support that channel and subscribe. Would really appreciate it. And just a couple of things. Tonight I've got a show going through over past recent meetings with Man City, and then I do other content as well on there. Got a preview coming up soon on that channel. That'll be later on in the week. But yeah, listen, thanks for having me on, Claude. It's been great as always. Really enjoyable.
It's a pleasure, and I wish you well with the channel, mate. I'm sure it'll get better and better. But yeah, I notice in this game, mate, it's a lot of patience is needed. A lot of patience.
It is, mate.
Yeah, it's just as long as you can be patient, I think you'll be okay, mate. This just needs a lot of patience. But
I put in the hard work as well, Claude. I put in
exactly. I know you
9-day stream.
Jesus, I couldn't believe it. It was about 14 hours nearly, wasn't it? So
yeah, it was exactly 14 hours. It just hit 40. It went over 14 hours. So yeah.
So as I say, it was a really great effort by yourself, and I think. Thank you. You've been a brilliant guest, Daniel. Thank you for coming on. I really appreciate you coming on. Brilliant guest today. And good luck in. Let's hope we can bring the points in on Saturday. Let's hope we can bring the points home. Right.
Exactly.
Thank you, everyone in the chat. Thank you for all coming in. Thank you for people who are watching. Be back tomorrow again. I'll be back tomorrow, probably around about the same time. Look out for the notifications. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful day. See you soon.